Hey guys, and welcome to your 2-Minute Money Manager. I'm your host, Stacey Johnson, and this answer is brought to you by MoneyTalksNews.com, serving up the best in personal finance news and advice since 1991. Today's question comes to us from Ramsey. I wonder if it's Dave Ramsey. Anyway, it says Ramsey. I want to get more credit cards to get more bonus air miles. My wife fears that those extra credit cards will hurt our credit score. Which of us is right? Well, this question isn't quite as straightforward as it seems because adding new credit cards can affect you in both the short term and the long term. So let's talk about both those things. Now, in the very short term, opening new accounts can cost you a couple of points on your credit score. That's because getting approved for a credit card requires what's called a hard pull of your credit profile by the card issuer. Now, this happens every time you apply for any kind of a loan, and it's the reason you might see your credit score drop a few points when you do. There's also what's called a soft pull. That doesn't affect your credit score. Examples of a soft pull would be when you check your own credit, or when a credit card company checks your credit before sending you one of those solicitations in the mail. Those are soft pulls. They have no effect whatsoever. So, generally though, the drop in your score from a hard pull is marginal, just a few points. So bottom line, in the short term, Ramsey's wife is right to be at least a bit concerned. Applying for credit cards can negatively affect your score. 3 other things to consider, though, at the same time as you do this. 1, be selective. Since pulling your credit profile could cost you some credit score points, try to only apply for cards you have a good chance of qualifying for, because obviously there's no point in losing points for cards you weren't going to get anyway. Number 2, we're not all alike. Those with high credit scores and solid credit histories are going to lose fewer points than those with lower scores and spotty histories. And finally, number 3, this is important. If you're about to borrow big, do be careful. Like, for example, if you're going to apply for an important loan in the next 6 months, like a car loan or a mortgage, don't take a chance on losing even 1 point by applying for additional credit now. Lost points on a credit score could cost you tens of thousands on a mortgage, theoretically at least. On the other hand, if a big loan request isn't in your future, it's probably not a big deal. Okay, now let's talk about the long-term effects, or potential at least long-term effects of applying for additional credit. They can be positive, really, assuming you pay on time and you keep your balances low. 3 reasons why. First, it could improve your payment history. Now, according to FICO, more than a third of your credit score is made up of, no surprise, your payment history. The more perfect lines of credit you have, the better you're going to look. Reason number 2, it could improve your credit utilization ratio. Another important factor when determining your score is called credit utilization. Sounds complicated? It isn't. It just means the amount of credit you're using versus the amount you could use. For example, you've got a $10,000 line of credit on your credit card and you're using $1,000 of it, you've got a $1,000 balance, then you've got a 10% credit utilization ratio. And you want to keep that as low as possible. So increasing your credit, your ability to borrow could lower that ratio. Make sense? Okay, the final reason, it diversifies your credit profile. Opening different kinds of accounts, especially if you don't have a credit card account, can help you look good to FICO and other credit scores, along with things like car loans, home loans. So this is another type of credit that can raise your credit score. Okay, so after all that, here's your bottom line. While you might have a small drop in your credit score when you first apply for a card, it's not a big deal. Exception, if you're going to be applying for an important loan soon, say within the next 6 months. But if you've got great credit and no plans to borrow big anytime soon, why not apply for cards that offer big sign-up bonuses? In fact, I recently did that exact thing myself. A few months ago, I signed up for a new card that gave me 100,000 reward points. That's enough for several days of free hotel stays. So as long as I pay it off every month, and I will guarantee you that I do, what's not to like? Hope that answers your question, Ramsey. And that's all I've got for today. I'm Stacey Johnson, and if you want more, you can find me anytime you want at MoneyTalksNews.com.